Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Mature Racing Club's Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship and Pro 2. As this is the second race I'm covering for these guys. This one directly followed the Catalunya race here. I'd be mistaken for thinking it was only yesterday I recorded it. Yeah, Catalunya. And it's a reverse grid one, so this is the one where the guys pick their own cars. So any Group 4 car, absolutely anything, whatever you want, free choice. There is a bit of this league, I will give them credit, has got a good mixture, so we'll quickly go through what cars we've got on offer tonight. This is reverse grid order, so Quick Ben, who had a shocker last time out, he's in the Jag. They do start really well, so he might well just rock it off at the start. Ruffle in a Megane Trophy. I've not seen many people rocking a Megane Trophy. It got a little bit of a bop nerf, balance of performance, so it had a little bit of weight added to it, which made it kind of non-competitive, so I'm surprised to see it. Then we've got Baggy in the Peugeot. Don't be fooled by the Citroen badge on the back, that's a Peugeot. James Harwood in the Viper, did prove to be a popular early choice. We'll see how it works out for James. I've not seen one racing in the league before, but nice looking livery on that car as well. We've got Mac Daddy in probably the most popular car, which is the Audi TT. You will see a few of those. There's a bit of a theme. Macreeda in the Corvette. James Harwood hates them. Marshall in the Subaru. That will absolutely rock it off the start. So if he's not battling for the lead by the time we get to turn 1, there's something wrong. Another Jag here for All Big Wall. Again, watch for that on the start. Surf Revs in a McLaren. Good all-rounder, to be fair. Decent all-round car. We've got ESR Idol, he's in another Peugeot. We've got Chichi. Chichi's in a VW Sirocco. Yes, it's a VW Sirocco. Ben Cosgrove in an Audi. And then right at the back there, Mocking Weeks, our winner last time out. He is in a Honda NSX. Yes. So let's get this one underway and see what happens. Now this is... Oh God, it's quite loud. We'll just let them all get away and then I'll tell you a little bit about it. So lights up, away we go. So this is Tokyo Expressway street circuit, and it is raining heavily in Tokyo tonight, so the drivers are running the wet compound tyres and expect visibility to be a little bit reduced tonight, which is going to cause issues not only for commentary. As we see, Marshall did indeed get a great start. He's up to P3 already. All Big Wall got a good start as well. Baggy didn't get a bad start, to be brutally honest to him, but he's a couple down. So Marshall's fighting for P2 with Ruffle. Ruffle in. Always Quick Ben goes massively deep there. This is just a bit of a cluster of cars now into this. Let's go back a little bit and pick a car near the back. So let's actually pick. Let's go back to Surfer Rev actually. I think Surfer's going to get a good view of this. So look at the amount of cars here trying to get themselves into turn 1. So Surfer's just looking for a gap here on the inside. You can see a couple of cars go deep. Surfer at this point, he gets a bit of a nudge. You can see the car there wanting to fight its way past. That is Baggy. Surfer's up to P6 there. That was a great move by Surfer down into turn 1. He's fighting with James Harwood in the Dodge Viper. James currently running P5. Will be P6 anytime soon. Yep, there Surfer goes. So Chichi now starting to get into the pace of it a little bit. P8, Ben Cosgrove fighting a little bit. Oh, we've got a car off. That's Quick Ben. What's happened to Quick Ben? Oh, he's just slapped the wall. Is he going to slap this one because he took a very narrow line? Yeah, I think so. Boot full of throttle. And is he broken his car? Or is he just waiting? Let's have a look. So this is, yeah, the understeer is just incredible. So he lets Ruffle pass, that compromises his line into it, and he just picks up a boot full of, yeah, he just gets on the throttle really quickly. You know what, I'm going to give Ben a lot of credit for that. A lot of drivers would have just put their foot down there, but he hung back, didn't want to, because when you put your foot down, the game just unghosts you, and you're not, people can't pass through you anymore. So credit to him for doing that. He knew that I'd ghost him and let people go, so credit to him. Marshall 2012 up to P2. Then McCready's had a massive slide on there in the in the American car. So Marshall doing a great job up in P2 at the minute. Got Surfer F P4, James Harburn P5. Massive fight here for P6. It's between Chi-Chi, Baggy, Matt Daddy and Ben Cosgrove. Mocking Week's trying to tag onto the back of that in the background. As the two FF cars go side by side. We're coming down to a big braking zone now. We've got Surfer Ev stopped as well. What's happened to Surfer Ev? So he was very close behind McCready. Now McCready got a wall slap not long ago, so he was going slow. That's why Surfer was able to get the move made on him. Oh, oh my days. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. And Matt Daddy hits him as well, so not Surfer's fault, but a racing incident. Just a bit of a collection of cars at a wall, basically. It's a very safe circuit, Tokyo, especially in the wet and at night. It's very safe. A bit of a fight going on then between James Harburn and Marshall for this P2 spot. James Harburn gets that move made down the straight. He's basically given a tow to everyone else now, James Harburn. So, as they come into the dry section of the circuit, we have a 3-car fight for P3 kicking off. These guys will get a bit of slipstream from James Harburn up ahead as well. So they're going to reel the Dodge Viper as we come towards the big braking zone for turn 1. Is James going to be able to survive this? Marshall, does he go a bit too deep in the Subaru? He does. That's Marshall kind of out of the game, I'm afraid. James Harburn retains P2. McCready's nearly got it. But McCready just holds the sliding Chevrolet at the apex. Ben Cosgrove up to 4th. This Marshall going deep only added to this problem we've got in the midfield at the minute. It's just an absolute cluster of cars. So Ben Cosgrove just ahead of that. Then we've got Baggy, then we've got Chi-Chi. Marshall's involved in all this as well. Matt Daddy's getting involved in the back of it. So all these cars now fighting for the same piece of tarmac. It might take a few laps for this to settle down, you know. Meanwhile, Ruffle is managing to escape away into the distance in the Megane. James now just needs a few laps where he's not being bothered by a car behind him to try and reel onto this. But I've got a feeling that Ben Cosgrove, who started near the back of the grid by the way, in the Audi, will be troubling James Harburn very soon. As McCready goes sideways yet again, Baggy's up to P5. Have we had a car off? Or Big Wall? What's happened to Or Big Wall? What's happened to him? Oh, he slammed the wall, that's what happened to him. So yeah, Or Big Wall got a bit of a wall slide going on. Mocking Week's trying to fight his way up as well. Oh, there's a big crash here down under the bridge. I want to say this is Mocking Week's had to go up the inside there, and then 2 cars didn't fit down there by the looks of things. So look for Or Big Wall on the right. There he is in the Jag. Yeah, there's just wasn't the real. Mocking Week's undoubtedly come out with that way worse than anyone. He's right down at the back now. Quick Ben and Idle are going to have to try and get past Or Big Wall in the Jag. Yes, how Idle makes that move. Let's quickly catch up with these guys. So Surfer's got some work to do now. He's got a recovery drive on his hands. Nice battle for P4 then between McCready, Baggy and Chi-Chi. McCready slaps the wall. Chi-Chi's got past Baggy. He went a little bit deep. McCready's ripe for the picking here. I think he's having trouble controlling the back end of that car. He's got an indicator on as well for some reason. But Ben Cosgrove as well beginning to trouble James Harburn for that P2 spot down the main straight. This will be an easy move for the Audi. The Audi that has superior acceleration. It does bail out on its top end just a little bit, but should be enough. James Harburn might be getting a bit of slipstream assistance from Buffle. And indeed, after setting a 21.3, fastest lap of the race so far, immediately beaten by Ben Cosgrove with 21.0. Ben looking for the move down into the big braking zone, then down the inside goes the Audi. James Harburn, can he hold it? I think James is a bit compliant to this one, almost lets the Audi go. not fighting that at all. There's a bit of movement a little bit further down. So who was that? We've got a drifting Subaru in there as well somewhere. And it does kind of feel like things are starting to plateau a little bit. There's been a bit of contact there between Quick Ben and Big Wool. So Quick Ben's there, goes deep. So space is given. Yeah, that is a bit of a nudge. Quick Ben getting rid of his penalties, or Big Wool lets him continue up ahead of him. So those guys are going to be out of the picture now, I'm afraid. Surf Rev, recovery drive for Surfer. He's going to try and get onto the back of this fighting pack that have been massively busy all race, fighting each other, which is Marshall, McDaddy and Chi-Chi, who's just escaped actually. We've got James Harbin down to P3 now after getting overtaken by Ben Cosgrove. Can Ben do much about the Megane? I think ultimately what will happen here is this Audi will just get past the Megane on a straight, and that's probably the last we'll see of it. In the wet, tyre wear is not as bad, so this is probably a no-stop race for most people as well. The wet tyres are a lot more durable than the dry ones, so I wouldn't actually imagine any major dramas with tyres. Unless you're in FF, you might have problems in an FF, but I wouldn't imagine it's that bad. Mocking Weeks after that massive crash a lap or two ago is up into P11 now. So our winner from Catalonia, he's just trying to rescue some points out of this race. Damage limitation now. ESR Idol, another one who's having a bit of a shocker. He was one of the guys that tipped me off that this wasn't his finest hour. Baggy's dropped back from this fight a little bit. McDaddy and McCready having a good old battle, so it is Audi versus McCready's in a Chevrolet, isn't he? Yeah, so McCready's getting a bit of slipstream from the Sirocco up ahead, and you can just see the power of the suck. So some excellent suckage going on here between these boys, and McCready's been slingshotted, and McDaddy's trying to go for the slingshot as well. Let's cover the turn. We'll cover turn 1 as Ben Cosgrove goes to move down the inside of Ruffle. Ruffle does try and fight him at the apex, so Ben Cosgrove just parks his car there in the way. Oh, and Ruffle spun out. Let's go on board Ruffle a second actually. So that move was actually made way before the braking zone actually. Ruffle was coming back at him, bouncing his car off the rev limiter here, Ruffle. He's going to go for the cutback move. You see Ben just parks his car on the apex there, really struggles to get the power down that Audi, and yeah, Ruffle just picks up an absolute boot full of throttle, and he's going to struggle to get that Renault Megane going again. Surf Rev is going to make short work of it. Oh, actually Surf Rev again just sort of compromised, I think. There's a McCready's round. What's happened to McCready? Is he fighting with anyone else? As there is a car on his inside, I think. No, he just lost it all by himself there, McCready. So, unfortunately for the Chevrolet driver, he has gone from 4th to, well, quite a few places down now after that little spin, I feel. Or we did get a little bit of a tap, I think, from Chi-Chi. So we were covering this, actually. We were watching this little scrap between Chi-Chi and McCready and McDaddy. So there's an Audi here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, that's a bit of something or nothing, to be fair. Chi-Chi's going to do the honourable thing, I think, and wait. I think he feels responsible for that, so he'll wait for McCready to get past him. So I'd expect Chi-Chi at this point, if he's doing that, if he's slowing down, might need to picked up speed again. Maybe they were on chat and maybe they were just telling each other just to carry on. That often happens. So we'll sit here on comms and it looks bad, but these guys have just told each other on the game chat that it's okay to carry on. So Ruffle after spinning, P5 for Ruffle. Marshall's back in the action then, P4 for the Subaru driver. Although now he's got a bit of a gap to McDaddy up in P3. McDaddy, the unexpected podium sitter for the time being. Ruffle will want to take that off him, but there's a horde of cars here now, including Surf Rev, who, don't forget, a couple of laps ago was pretty much stationary on the track, getting smashed up by a couple of cars. Surf Rev in P7 is actually not that far behind a podium position. There's a few cars in his way that he'll have to navigate. 4 to be exact, but he's got some work to do if he wants to get that done. But that McLaren does look quite a sorted car. And Chichi then goes for the move. Oh, it's very deep by Chichi. He's going to smash the wall to smithereens. I think Surf Rev had flashbacks when that happened and just sort of backed out of it, but he does get the move made eventually. Chichi's going to fight him though. We are now onto the long main straight, so now is a good time to have a recap of our order as we start lap number 5. So Ben Cosgrove is your race leader at this minute in time. 19.8 that time around. James Harben in the Dodge 20.5 that time around. Mac Daddy P3 22.1 for Mac Daddy. And then look at these lot. So Surf Rev up to P4. He was what, P7 a minute ago? Literally. Not even a minute ago. So Surf Rev up to P4 now. Chichi have to go in deep. Down in P5. Is Chichi going to try and get a cheeky move made? He's actually going to lose out to Marshall. It looks like he went too deep. So, oh, Marshall drifting. They don't drift too well, those cars. So Surf Rev P4, Marshall P5, Ruffle P6. Chichi's lost out a bunch of spots here. He's P7. He's actually getting pressure from Macreeda now. Baggy in P9. We've got Mocking Weeks P10. Mocking Weeks has just set the fastest lap of the race at 18.5. So he's definitely on the pace. All Big Wall P11, 19.4 for All Big Wall. So there are a lot of these cars at the back have pace. Quick Ben P12 and ESR Idle. He's had a bit of a nightmare, he's P13. Now let's go and check back on this little fight here, because this is where all the action was happening before. And that action has since chilled itself out. We rejoin the action in the hotly contested fight for 5th. This has been boiling between Marshall, Ruffle and Chichi for a couple of laps now, and it's finally reaching some sort of crescendo. Chichi there actually taps the wall. What happened there? So Chichi in the Sirocco. This is coming onto the big main straight. Drove himself into the wall. Don't know why he did that. But yeah, anyway, now he's punching a bit of a hole in the air for the Subaru and the Megane. Mocking Weeks as well. Mocking Weeks now to P8. So again, this is a bit of a turn up for the books for Mocking Weeks. He's on time and a pretty decent race considering how awfully it started. So Chichi's now losing out to Marshall. Ruffle's got the inside line as well for that next corner. Can everyone get the braking done right? I think they can. Chichi goes into the corner ahead, but Ruffle and Marshall got the inside line. Good racing between these guys so far. Everyone nice and tidy on the exit. Marshall just about ahead of Ruffle. And we'll have the inside line for the next corner. No, sorry, it's Ruffle who's got the inside line, but Marshall is just ahead. And keeps that P5 for the time being. But Ruffle comes straight back at him now in the Megane. Cheech is coming straight back in it as well. Quite hard to keep up with these guys. Mocking Weeks is licking his lips looking at all this. He's P8 at the minute. It's just hard to see what's bloody going on. Macreeda down in P11. He had another spin. I'm just going to cover off Ben Cosgrove. There he is. He's winning by a lot. James Harben P2, but coming under a bit of pressure from Mac Daddy and Surf Rev. We'll keep an eye on that. Marshall just about winning this little fight here, but he slaps the wall. That's going to give Chichi a run on him. Mocking Weeks going for a bit of a move on Ruffle. Ruffle again. I don't think Ruffle gives that too much of a fight, to be brutally honest. Just tucks up behind the NSX, knows that he can probably use that car as a little bit of a slipstreamer. Chichi and Marshall fighting away. For the time being, Chichi comes out ahead. Surfer Matt Daddy in P4 and P3 respectively. James Hardman P2. Just over the halfway point of this race now. We've done 6, we're coming on to the 7th lap. There's Ben. Sorry Ben, when you're in front and it's kind of boring because you're not racing anyone, so you're not going to get a ton of coverage, mate. I like you know that, but you're just not going to get a yeah, you're not going to get that. So it's Matt Daddy up for a move on. Surfer, he's going to have to hang it round the outside if he is. Surfer's got the nice defensive line, gets that McLaren tidied up on the apex. For the time being, the McLaren P3 then, so he's now gone from having a bit of a shocking race where we were talking about just having to recover this one. He's now on a podium position and chasing down P2 as well, so James Hardman last time out was a 22.2. Surfer has been doing the 20, well he's been in the 19s most of it. So Surfer with some astonishing pace in that McLaren. This fight for P5 is still boiling on. It's currently consisting of Chichi, Marshall and now Mocking Weeks. Ruffles really fallen off this. I think he's had a bit of an off somewhere. Let's keep an eye on this though. Mocking Weeks is certainly looking to pick up some positions here. And the NSX driver, you can just see how bad visibility is around this this second section. It's very clustered around here. There's a lot of cars in this particular section of track. Mocking Weeks has got the run on Marshall, just gets that nice and tidy move made. He's now free to chase down Chichi. A bit further back, McCready P8 from McCready. Baggy and Ruffle, simultaneous wall taps. All Big will join in the fun as well with Quick Ben in P12. There could be anything happening here between these guys. The Peugeot was a superior straight line car, so we are coming up to the big long straight. I would expect Baggy at that point to just bugger off into the distance. Maybe not if he slaps the wall like that, or Big Will collects him. Not all Big Will's fault. He slows down, but I'll be honest, all Big Will, that wasn't his fault at all. Any contact there was actually on Baggy, to be fair. But yeah, Baggy in the Peugeot will now just bugger off. Mocking Weeks and Chichi, that one hasn't really come on. This is what's happened here, James Hardman. So James, right, sorry James, I'm not shining in glory here, am I? But this is, I'm just interested how you lost P2. So Surfer, I think just on pace, had him, yeah, and that compromised James's line, and yeah, that's just going to give Matt Daddy the run coming up to the straight, I think. Yeah, so Matt Daddy does the right thing here, to completely exactly what he should do, just hang back. James does make a bit of a mistake on the on that corner, but this isn't bad news for James now because he's behind two very quick cars, so he can just use them and get that move made back in. Well, about 10 minutes left of this one, so that's about another what, 4 laps maybe. So that lap so far, this lap's shaping up for James to be back in the 22, so he's starting to struggle a little bit in that big American barge now. Ben Cosgrove at this point, we'll just have a check on his gap. Ben's gap at this point was nearly 12 seconds. So all this fighting is just helping Ben escape into the abyss ahead. Matt Daddy now, he's going to get P2, I think. Maybe not. Surfer's fighting this one valiantly. James Hardman's got the inside. Can Surfer cover him? He can. Can Matt Daddy hang it round the outside? He can't. Can he get the cutback? We will see. There's going to be James Hardman in the way though. Matt Daddy sees him, alters his line. Good racing between these guys. Really good racing. Very respectful between all of them. And Surfer emerges out in P2 then. James Hardman fighting Matt Daddy for that final podium position. This one could go down to the wire. James does just give up for that time being and will live to fight another day. Mocking Weeks P5, Chi-Chi P6, he's now fighting with Marshall yet again. These two have been tied at the hip pretty much the entire race. P8 for Macreada, Baggy P9, Ruffle P10, or Big Wall P11. He's had a bit of a race to forget, these two guys. Quick Ben P12. Idle we have lost, so he is not showing on the timing screens any longer. So final 5 minutes of the race now. Thought I'd do just a little bit of a recap. As is the way with Tokyo, positions have been swapping back left, right and centre. So don't expect this little recap to last, because it won't. So Ben Cosgrove in the lead, that probably won't change. He's absolutely dominating this one. Surf Rev has built up a little bit of a gap. James Harben and Matt Daddy were exchanging places for a little bit. There was a little bit of a wall tap from Matt Daddy that sort of set him back a little bit. So James Harben at the minute, and solid P3 position. He's got some pace back in that car. He's now lapping back in the 220s. Matt Daddy's last lap was a 21.9, so yeah, he's had an issue somewhere. But there's 4 and a bit minutes left to go, so anything can happen, and he's in a very fast car and has shown some really good racecraft. Mocking Weeks not too far back. Could Mocking Weeks snatch P4? He's certainly one of the fastest people on track at the minute, if not the fastest. So him getting into a P4 spot is certainly not out of the equation. Macreada, an impressive drive from Macreada. He's been backwards about 3 times, but he's P6, so great drive. Chi-Chi, I might look back on this one and thought he got in some battles that he maybe didn't need to. P7 for Chi-Chi at the minute. Marshall 2012 has had a very eventful race. P8 for Marshall, or Big Wall. One to forget for Big Wall, but a P9, he might well be happy with that. Baggy, P10 for Baggy, with Quick Ben in P11, and like I said, we've lost Ruffle now, and we've lost ESR Idle. So a few cars have gone away, I'm afraid. So a few things to keep an eye on. Can Mocking Week snatch P4? Will this Macreada Chi-Chi Marshall fight come to anything? Can Or Big Wall rescue anything? And will Quick Ben and Baggy have a nice little fight right at the end of this one? It doesn't look like Quick Ben's going to go for the move down into turn 1. Sorry, down into, what is the final call? Is it turn 1 this? Yeah, it's turn 1. You can tell I've not been racing GTTCC for a couple of races, because I completely forget where they all are. So quick word on Ben. He's had a great race. Not really put a foot wrong, to be fair. He's been lapping nice and consistently, but that's quite easy to do when you're not fighting anyone, so he got the job done early. Surf Rev, driver of the day for me. Superb drive from Surf Rev. James Harben, another great drive, intercepted with small mistakes, I think, that could have cost him. He could have been battling for that P2 if it weren't for some small mistakes. Mocking Weeks, look how close Mocking Weeks is to Matt Daddy now. Will the NSX emerge victorious over the TTs? The TTs did struggle here in all leagues, so it's not just Matt Daddy struggling. Ben Cosgrove is probably the exception in this league, but all the TTs in this league seem to struggle. Mocking Weeks now to come onto the big main straight. This now to start what it will be their final lap. Can the Honda driver? I think the Honda team have pulled out of F1 to pull all their resources into Mocking Weeks' drive here. He's really challenging the German manufacturer for supremacy on the streets of Tokyo. So the Japanese home car gets the move made for P4, but Matt Daddy with an opportunity now just to slipstream Mocking Weeks back. So Mocking Weeks now has to defend for all it's worth for this next lap in order to secure a very hard-earned P4 for Mocking Weeks. He's pretty much had to overtake everyone on circuit. And Matt Daddy doesn't go for that move back into P1. He's always enjoyed the wide line here, Matt Daddy, and it's worked out quite well for him actually. He's going to get back up the inside of Mocking Weeks here. Mocking Weeks with the inside line, then we'll just get that move straight back again. Let's just jump back. Macreada, P6 from Macreada's dropped Chi-Chi a little bit. Chi-Chi's come under the attention of Marshall. We saw War Big Wall taking some cones out there. So can Marshall get Chichi here? I think he's gonna have an opportunity to do just that. Chichi pretty much shuts the door on him coming up this section here. He's defending hard. Marshall will have superior traction in that 4x4 Subaru. Wondering if All can pick any last points out of this as well. We'll come back to these guys. Baggy's just about beating off Quick Ben with a big stick here. Let's see if there's any of these fights come to fruition. Mocking Weeks is avoiding. We can probably keep an eye on this little fight for a little bit. So Chichi just ahead of... When did that happen? When did Chichi get ahead of Marshall? No, that's always been that way. He was defending it. My apologies. So Chichi then P7, Marshall P8, but he was looking like he was going to get a move made then. He's got to use the lateral grip advantage that car's going to have over the next 5 or 6 corners. Because once that VW gets on a straight, it will bugger off. So the leaders on the straight now. We can jump back to Ben Cosgrove. An absolutely dominant performance by the Audi driver. If anything, got quicker as the race progressed. 2:19.3 on his 12th lap. Not the fastest lap of the race, but a very quick lap for a car that would have struggled here. So good result for Ben Cosgrove. Picks up a win at Tokyo. Sideways, what we like to see. Surfer Ev, for me, driver of the day. Like I've said, great result for Surfer Ev in the McLaren. He will be happy with that, no doubt. Sideways as well, thank you very much. James Harbin P3, he will no doubt give me a handbrake as well. Yeah, lovely stuff. Mocking Weeks P4 in the end. Superb result, Mocking Weeks. Matt Daddy sideways as well. Love to see it, boys. Macreeda P6. I'm just interested to see what's happening back here then. So Cheech is just about holding off for P7, Marshall P8 or Big Wall P9, very close between those guys. And then Baggy, will he keep P10? Will Quick Ben get him at the line? It's side by side between these two. Quick Ben's got him. Quick Ben's got him at the line.